Welcome to the Introverted Influencer Podcast. I'm your host, Erica Van Slyke. My soul's mission on this planet is to help fellow introverts grow their online influence in a state of feminine flow and ease. While battling the woes of depression, anxiety, and even mom guilt, I've somehow managed to build a six-figure blog without the use of social media and without sacrificing my mental health. If I can do it, you can fucking too. Hello, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Introverted Influencer Podcast. I hope last week you were able to get past my barking hound dog in episode 3, where I discuss finding your soul-aligned platform, and hopefully you were able to apply that to your own unique talent or industry so that you aren't scattering yourself so thin, trying to do all the things and chasing all of the shiny objects. One of the main goals of this podcast is to show you how to achieve online success from a place of ease. So I hope you are experiencing some mindset shifts through these super concise shows right now. Today, I want to explain why I rarely ever do brand sponsorships. A few weeks ago, episode 2, I believe, I broke down the basics of my business model and explained how 80% of my earnings are a result of passive income. And I will link that in the show notes for you. In that episode, you may have wondered why I never mentioned anything about brand sponsorships, as this seems practically synonymous with your stereotypical online influencer. That's because I don't consider sponsorships to be purely passive, and as a result, I do very, very few. That's because to me, personally, freedom is king. Freedom is something my soul has always valued. It's one of the top priorities, I think, for this incarnation on this planet for me in this lifetime. And I mean, why would you become an effing entrepreneur if not for freedom? That's one of the main benefits of entrepreneurship. You know, you're not taking on all of these risks of being a business owner to feel like you have to work for or have to answer to someone else. And that actually is reason number 1 why I don't do many sponsorships, is because I refuse to ever feel like I have a boss ever again. In every sponsorship I have ever had to do with a major brand, I have always had a brand liaison that I have to submit my content for approval, and you often have to go through various edits before I'm even allowed to share it with my readers on my own freaking platform. Like, ew, that's not the vibe. And this leads me to my next point. Reason number 2. I personally believe answering to a brand can stifle your creativity. Whether it's because you get locked into a non-compete clause with a brand and you can't work with any other similar products because it's a different brand, or whether you're getting locked into like a year-long contract of content obligations, or simply because you might have to comply with a company's moral code, which personally for me meant I had to agree with a certain company not to be the potty-mouth I am in any content where I mention their product. Anything that impedes on my ability to express myself genuinely is it's just not worth it to me. Before I get into reason number 3 why I rarely do brand sponsorships, I wanted to preface it with a pretty common theme in this podcast so far. And that is, I'm going to say this over and over. I feel like this is going to be the common motto and theme. If it's not a guaranteed money-making activity, I refuse to waste my time on it. And that leads me to reason number 3. Chasing down sponsorships is time-consuming and doesn't always result in liquid earnings or guaranteed trade deals. So I've gotten to the point in my online business where I do not actively pursue sponsorship deals. Now, if a brand I admire approaches me and I see where the deal will be beneficial to me, like it's something that I need or I'm going to have to purchase anyhow, or if I just feel like it's a natural fit for my existing content and my brand, that's an entirely different story. But in the early days when blogging was a side hustle for me, back when I was working as an SEO consultant, I had 2 babies at home with me like 24/7. I had no help with them. They needed constant attention. I simply didn't have the time to waste reaching out to brands, doing all the research to find who the gatekeeper was to the certain brand. And then, drafting a sales pitch and a proposal, yuck. I had done this before I needed to purchase this big ticket item for my home renovation. And this was back in the early days of blogging. I didn't have a whole lot of free money to spend. And I thought, well, shoot, I'm just going to reach out to this brand. I need to buy this big ticket item anyhow. Let me find out who I need to contact and let me come up with a unique and appealing pitch for them. And after I'd gone through all of this, it was crickets. And in the end, I decided to move forth anyhow and buy the big ticket item myself. But I found the affiliate link for this particular product. And I just inserted this into the actual post. And guess what? The affiliate commissions I made on this particular item was way more than I know I ever would have gotten if this were a sponsorship deal. If it were like just for product trade, or even probably their going rate is not going to be as much as what I'm still making to this day in commissions on the sales of this particular product. And that just put a bad taste in my mouth, and that was kind of the only time I pursued a brand, and I just decided it wasn't worth my time. And ultimately, in the words of an old business mentor of mine, I invested in one of her blogging boot camps, and she was a craft blogger, and she had this saying that still stays with me to this day. You can't eat glitter. I'll repeat that again. You can't eat glitter. I mean, free shit is nice and all, but it doesn't put food on the table, guys. And here's the final reason, number 4. I am weary to do too many sponsorships. My readers don't tend to receive it very well. And I think this is maybe the way I've branded myself. So I have prided myself on keeping it super real with my audience. And even if that means calling out products that I think suck, or even calling out my own DIY projects that maybe didn't go the way I wanted them to, I've always told my readers that I keep it real. And as a result, I just think that doing too many sponsorships comes off as inauthentic to my brand and to my message. Or just maybe I'm projecting some limited mindset bullshit out into the universe. And I'll call myself out on that. Maybe that's what it is. At any rate, this podcast wasn't meant to discourage any of you guys from doing sponsorships. If it's working for you, keep doing you, boo. I am simply sharing my unique approach to influencing. So, I hope you found this episode informative, and it would mean the world to me if you could give this podcast a 5-star review or screenshot this episode on your phone, upload it to your Instagram story, and tag me in it at Designing Vibes. Much love, guys.